Okay, now this may seem like redundant, and it is, um, but it popped up in my feed, and I watched a part of it, and I'm gonna finish watching the rest of it. It's called Peacemaker 315, um, and so he is advertised as an ex-Secret Service agent, and he began showing, you know what a map is, which is an echo map, which is the mathematical visual program. So he's showing a map of what he called what the rat lines are. Now, if you go back in history, remember the rat lines tied directly to the Zion faction. Remember, Oceania covered the bloodlines, the factions, Intruder Races Alliance. And so if you remember the rat line, the Vatican was providing the rat line that was allowing Mengele and all them folks that were running DNA experiments. Remember the boy from Brazil? Okay, and the reason, and one of the great things that he did was he shows how you have all these corporations. Remember the old game called the shell game? They hide. Not just masking technology, okay, but they hide behind corporations so they don't get exposed. So and that's what they do. They're like scared little rabbits that hide in bunkers and generate labs by what they suck through the AI, which is actually the system engineering that they develop, which is a false vacuum. And I've mentioned this in many videos. They're in a race against time. We're not in a race against time. Time is an illusion. But they're in a race against time, which is Bardo. Okay? And so they're frantic. Absolutely frantic because of separation anxiety. Because they know once implosion happens, see it. You're gone. That race line is like washed. It's like it doesn't exist anymore. Because that race line could not evolve and learn fast enough to experience becoming one with the first son, eternal son of Kundera. So who do you think has the most valuable DNA? Those that do. Those that experience pure, eternal, absolute love in spirit, form, and flow of the original Ekaveka tones that run a true vacuum. They don't run a true vacuum. They bend light to create a false matrix. So what he showed on that map was how, because that's what they do. That's what all the implants are for. Is to track where all the children are. They're coming in because they knew this was the last dance. Or they want that DNA because what does that allow them to do? Has access to keys. Key codes. They want the key codes. They're desperate because they're dying races. And they know that. That's tied directly to the underground stuff and some of the stuff that Kerry Cassidy put together with, what's his name, Dan Burrish, a microbiologist. Okay? And that's why I cried for 4 days. I still cry every day. And that is a good sign. That means you still have feelings. Because they don't have any feelings left. That's why they want the blood. Transfusions, adrenochrome factories. That's why they go after children, because they know that that blood is pure. Those children have deep feelings because they experience what love is. So when you have a unit of consciousness represented by DNA bloodlines as a result of wars over eons and 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 eons of time, of inner cell destructive technologies, and have technologies related to the directed use of codes through those technologies, there's an energy debt system. The more you keep fracturing, the harm that you do to others increases your implosion ratio over time-space vectors when there isn't any time between lower creation and higher creation, which are higher tones and lower tones. That's what happens when you fall. So there's a natural way to do that, which are natural codes, which are healing codes, which is to surrender to heal yourself within yourself with those codes. The problem is the system itself is in resistance to heal. And that is counterintuitive. Why would they not want to heal? because their perception of power is inverted and upside down. That's why it's 60, not 45. That's your sucking sound synthesizer, your synthetic telepathy. Polymers. Why do you think they drill everything out of the ground and burn that consciousness up as hydrocarbons? Because they're sick. It's a perverted mind because it's a perverted spiral. So perverted minds do perverted things to others, which means they're doing it to themselves because that's what they experience as a result of what happened. That's why we're here. That's why we're holding the doors open. The inner doors, the inner sun, the inner Eka core, the Nomi, Noble, Planet, CPU, the core encryption code. So for those that are interested in this, he did a pretty good job just from what I could see. You know, he mentioned how this attorney hooked up with another attorney, right, between Bellevue, Washington and Washington, D.C., set up all these different corporations. So you know what a map looks like, arteries and veins and links between density and dimensions and access and portals and gates, right? So in other words, their map in their mind is like an artery, a molten voltage artery of lines of communication that exist between planets, star systems, galaxies, and universes to communicate with each other as communication corridors, entry points, and access points to get between one location and another location mathematically through circuits, motherboards, the mother arc. The reunion of father and mother joined as one, the silver and gold mated one. Kundure. Kemaloati, the innocence of awareness. The innocence of awareness is an eternal flame that isn't aware of anything other than what I am, which is what love is. They don't experience that. And that is a separation. But there is no separation. That's why it's implosion. Because there's consequences for our actions, as in acting, ions, elemental ion circuitry. The firing pattern, the mathematical firing pattern, which is the burn pattern between noble gases, noble liquids, normal semisolids, and the Rosetta Stone, the mother arc, Sophia, the pink rose, the X. That's why they have you sign on the X. Put your signet, your signature, your signet, your core encryption code, your biometric code, your biometric identity, tied directly to insurance of Wall Street, like a cell wall, the inside of a cell, the inner core of a cell that's on fire. The spirit is on fire. So we experience fire and ice. Join as one. To experience being one with the first cell, the silver and gold mated cell, the unicide, the eternal consciousness, where the intention is the intention of pure, eternal, absolute love, because that's a reflection of who we are in our mirror, of everything that we are gifting love to, which is natural. It is natural to do that, which is the inside and the outside, the inner core and the outer sun, the outer sign. Waving hi to myself, right? That's what I do every time I wake up in the morning. Say hi to the sun. You are what I am. I'm giving love to. Good morning. Say hi to me. I know. It's extremely painful that you experience people have units of consciousness that represent formations that have to do this. right? I mean, imagine how much time and energy they spent having to do all this kind of stuff. Setting up all these lines and spending all their money to build the systems that they do. Realizing it's a waste of time and energy. Because they already know what the result is. So that is the Energizer Bunny, which is the vampire without an off switch. That's what a psychopath is. That has no feelings left for itself or for others. So it operates solely in the mental electronic field. It does not experience at the completion of a magnetic circuit, a true vacuum, to experience the eternal flame of the Dhamma Amaraya Kundere. An eternal space, an eternal state of being totally calm. A central nervous system that is totally calm and has not been hijacked by something that doesn't exist, which is a phantom time illusion. Because it's finite, which is the immortal body, which is not the eternal body of the first son, born out of the first pure intent, which is a pure intention to create what it sees in its own mirror, born out of eternal, pure, absolute love. And that is a pure heart, which is the home of the human heart, which is why we're here. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you very much, Peacemaker 315. Peacemakers. There is a difference between a peacekeeper and a peacemaker, which is a star maker, which is a key maker. The first keys, the first tones of first celestial, eternal life creation mechanics. The original template. That's us. Have a beautiful day and an evening wherever you happen to be. We love you all. Kamalawati. Amaraya.